Thank you very much. It's great to be here in Beijing. My name is Jacob, and I work for Microsoft. And in this talk, I would like to show you what, in my opinion, web developers should know about building web apps on the cloud and taking advantage of artificial intelligence. So it won't be like any introductory TypeScript or React talk. I will show a little bit of that, but I will focus more on how we can take advantage of machine learning and all the advancements that we have in this industry in the recent years. So a little bit about me. I used to work on the Azure Management Portal, which is one of the largest single-page applications. It's written in TypeScript by over 500 developers. And after we shipped the new Azure Management Portal, I created the mobile app for tracking Azure and monitoring state of the Azure resources. And starting this year, I joined the Azure Search team, which is managed search as a service platform that enables you to analyze big data and also add some intelligence to it. And today I'll show like a little bit of Azure Search and machine learning APIs in action. So as you know, as you see in the introductory video, that the AI is pretty much everywhere. You probably found about this conference using some search engine that is using AI underneath. Maybe some of you came here using Didi app that match you with the driver using AI. And maybe some of you even have this intelligent robot vacuum cleaner that can clean your house without your intervention. So I think in 5 years from now, my talk, Building Web Apps with Cloud and AI, would be actually called Building Web Apps, because everybody will be building apps on the cloud with AI in it. So the challenge we have today is that we have this tremendous amount of data, and the challenge is to be able to get some information from them at scale, and then to gain some knowledge. So the machine learning allows us to get them information from the data, but then we still have a lot of this, and it's hard to analyze it manually. So with help is coming some kind of search platform that will allow you to search through it efficiently. So at Microsoft, we have this machine learning APIs, which we call cognitive services. And this basically allow anybody to use power of artificial intelligence without actually knowing how to create deep neural networks, how these models actually work underneath. You can just call the API and take advantage of the results. So for example, one of the services is Vision API, where you can upload your image and it will tell you what is on the image, that there is a person, and it will tell you that I am 98% confident that there is a person on this image. Dominant color is blue, there's a man on this picture, and some other parameters that then you can take advantage as you need. And my team created one time this website, howold.net, which basically will tell you how old you look like. And thankfully, we built this on the cloud. Oh yeah, actually, there's one thing that we discovered also, that if you have beard and glasses, you look older. And also if you're serious, you also look older. So you know, it's me on both pictures, if you didn't notice. But besides that, so this app is not telling you how old you are, it's just telling you how old you look. But when we build this app, it's supposed to be just like some demo app for a Microsoft conference, when we wanted to generate some real-time traffic, and we wanted to demonstrate how you can monitor apps on the cloud. But then what has happened is that when we share it with a couple hundreds of people, then they started sharing around the world, and after 5 days in a keynote, we had traffic that reached 7 million images an hour. And if we didn't build it on the cloud, if we are not able to scale this, our service probably would be down. So this is what cloud enables today, right? Enables you to build a service, pay as you go. If you don't have much traffic, you pay less. If you have big amount of traffic, of course you pay more, but presumably you're making money. One of another services that we have at Microsoft is text analytics. So for now, we have like 3 features of this. It will tell you what language the text you are giving us is in. It will also tell you what are some key phrases. So for example, here I said I love China in Polish, and it detected its Polish language, detected the sentiment, whether it's positive or negative. And here I think yeah, I love China is 58% positive. Should be probably more. So here, if I provide like more complex sentence, I'm going to China, to QCon conference in Beijing to talk about cloud and artificial intelligence. And then it will extract the keywords, Beijing, cloud, QCon conference, and China. So this allows you to, for example, take like some huge chunk of text and get sense what this text is about. And this is how majority of machine learning APIs are working. So underneath, they have different machine learning models. So for example, in the text analytics API, we have a sentiment model, we have language model, and key phrases model. So these models are working independently and can be independently exchanged. But what is beautiful about that we as the web developers, we don't have to know how really they work. We just call the APIs, and magic is happening for us. So then I was thinking, we have all these cognitive services. We can learn about things that we are curious about. So as you guys know, like now very popular thing is blockchain and Bitcoin, right? And this is yesterday, the blockchain talk. I was trying to get in. There was no chance for that. That was all day like that. But it's still growing. Even the prices of Bitcoin decreased recently. But what always overwhelmed me is that there is this big amount of different cryptocurrencies, and I have no idea which one should I care about, which one is good one, which should I invest, which I shouldn't. So what I decided is I will use machine learning to find out. And what I did, I got the tweets about different cryptocurrencies, calculated sentiment for these tweets, and then I wanted to kind of like generate like an average sentiment per tweets, so I can see like which cryptocurrencies are getting traction, which I probably should avoid. So how I build it, I build on the cloud, of course. So I got the tweets, and Twitter API allows you actually to subscribe to tweet stream, and then like every tweet I dump to Azure Event Hub, which allows me to pretty much store them, and they can be consumed by other service later on. And then for that, I use the Azure Function. So Azure Function is a serverless platform provided by Azure. This is great with working with these machine learning APIs because you don't have to worry about deploying your service. You don't have to worry about having like repository, having like some continuous integration and continuous delivery. You can just add some script code and host it on the cloud. And then with this Azure Function, I called the text analytics API to figure out what's the sentiment for a particular tweet, and then I dump it to a SQL database. And then also, what I did after that, I also create the search index, so I'll be able to efficiently and fast search through these tweets. And of course, I created a web interface that will allow me to do some intelligence to actually enable me to see what's there. So now, let me jump really quick and show you what I did. So starting with, so this is Azure Management Portal. And here, if I have internet, I hope I do, yes. So this is my function app. And it's loading. Okay, here it is. So here is my function that is receiving a message from the Event Hub. And then it's making a request to Sentiment API to calculate the sentiment for this. Oh, thank you. Whoa. Yeah, thanks. Whoa, 2. Oh, man. So I have 1 water per 10 minutes. That's great. So this calculates the sentiment, and most of this code is basically parsing and serializing, deserializing. So now once I have the sentiment here, I create a connection to my SQL database, and I just insert this in the old style SQL query. You can be more sophisticated. You can run entity framework or link it to SQL or whatever you want. And then when I had this in my SQL database, I also created ASP.NET Core app. And actually, I think I had a slide for that. So that was the architecture. That was the Azure Function. And I built my front end with ASP.NET Core, which is now cross-platform. As you'll see, I'll be able to run it from my Mac. And I use React and TypeScript. And let me show you that. So maybe before I do that, I'll show you how how cool and how easy it's to create web apps. So you just say .NET new React, and this will generate for you the ASP.NET Core app with React and with hot reloading, with everything in there. It's restoring packages. I wonder how my internet is doing. Okay, let me just jump to my app straight away. So here it is. This is VS Code, now my favorite editor. So as you can see here, it's a standard model view controller app. I have a bootstrap code here in the startup.cs because ASP.NET Core is more lightweight than the ASP.NET MVC before. It's not running the entire .NET framework. It has this cross-platform .NET Core. And here in my client app, I have my React components. So for example, here's my home component, and actually let me run this from here. I can actually run it with F5 from VS Code. It's pretty cool. Hopefully, I also will have connection to my database. Let's see if I do have that. Because I'm using this MS SQL database, I just want to make sure I can connect. OK, looks like I am connected, so that's fine. And boom. So if you want to have access to this code, this is a QR code. I noticed that in China, everybody is using QR codes. I think that's pretty cool. And yeah, that's what will happen now. Everybody will raise their phones, get this QR code, and you should go to GitHub. Does it work? Tell me if it doesn't work, then I'll fix it maybe. Works? Awesome. Cool. OK, I'll give you a few more seconds to take the QR codes. That looks awesome. OK, so let me show you a little bit about how this app is set up. So what is cool about, I have this hot reloading setup. If you're not familiar with React, when you build apps with React, your web app is particularly created from different components. So this is my home component, and this is basically the view I'm showing there. So for example, do this. If I say, oops, I can say h1 link to GitHub repo h1, and I click save, and without reloading the browser, you see my text popped up in the browser. So this is a pretty cool experience that I have here set up using Webpack. You can take a look at this Webpack config file. So everything is created for you. It's been done by Steve Sanderson from Microsoft. He's making sure that ASP.NET Core can work with majority of different JavaScript frameworks. So now let me go to the meat. So what I did, as I mentioned, I have this data in my DB, right? And then let me show you how it looks. So I will select top 100 tweets from my database. I hope I didn't lose the connection, because that would be problematic. OK, don't go. Let's see. Oh, come on, connecting. That'll be too bad. Come on. Failed. But maybe because I canceled. Okay, one more time. SQL Connect. Again. Okay, let me stop my web app and let me try to connect one more time. Ooh. Why is that? Okay, I will close this, close that. Reopen my VS Code one more time. Okay, connect. All right, I'm connected again. Executing query, and there you go. So this is how my database looks like. So I have a date, I have a text of the tweet, and I have calculated sentiment, and I also have a column saying which cryptocurrency this is about. So then let me rerun my app. Control F5. Boom, boom, boom. And so open the browser. Sweet. It's loading. Okay, and here I created a chart. So I am actually here I used Linku. So if you go to the controller, the Cryptos controller, I have this Linku query that is calculating the average sentiment per day per crypto. So I can nicely visualize how different cryptocurrencies relates to each other. And this query actually will take a while because there was some Linku expression translations issue. So this will take around 40 seconds, you know. Oh, and now it failed. Let's see why. Oh, the connection issue. Well, that's not good. Let's try one more time. Sorry for that. The internet is not most reliable here, fortunately. I'm losing connection to a database. Okay. Let's see if I have still access to internet. Just to make sure. Bing.com. Oh, okay. I have internet, so this should work. So fingers crossed. If not, then I'll just have to talk over that. Okay. So again, this query will take around 40 seconds because I have large amount of tweets in my database. So then this is one of the problems when you build apps on top of large data sets, because then you have to worry about optimization, then you have to worry about performance, so on and so forth. And this is not necessarily something you want to do. You just want to get some intelligence from your data, right? Let's see how this is going. Oh, there you go. So here I have my charts, right? Took a while, but get back to me, and it's giving me some idea. Okay, so let's see. So this one looks interesting. So this is Monero, and the sentiment is going up. So maybe this is something I should look at. This one, okay, Bitcoin. It looks like it's pretty stable. Sentiment is around 0.5, 0.6. And you know what is interesting here, that almost all of these cryptocurrencies, the average sentiment is more than 0.5, which means it's in general it's positive, right? Because everybody is so excited about cryptos now, and you know, they're investing in it. But after that, you know, I wanted to be able to learn more, because, you know, I see average sentiment, but like, how can I dig in and to see where this different sentiment is coming from? So then again, I created another page which will pull all my tweets from the database. And again, this query will take like around 50 seconds. And of course, I could optimize it. I could build another UI. I could add paging. I could add some optimizations. And then I would spend probably a week building such solution. So what we did in Azure Search team, we created this UI generation tool built with React and TypeScript. So what this allows you to do, once you created your search index on top of your MS SQL database, you can generate UI for it that allows you to browse this. So let me go to the Azure Portal really quick. And here is my search index that I already created before the talk for this database. And MS SQL database has this nice feature called integrated change tracking, which basically allows us to sync between database and search index without you need to worry about that. So I think here's one sample one. I have Search Explorer, and I can say, give me top 100. And this will give me some JSON. So this is not ideal way to do that, right? So what you can do is you can use this generator. And here I generated this UI interface that later on I just put in my website. So I'll give up on that. This is not going anywhere, and actually it's stuck. So let me just close it up, and let me open it again. And I'll go to my search interface. And here I get the results almost instantaneously, right? Because this generated UI takes care of paging. It even gives you like different categories, so I can filter by coin. And you see, I'm getting in the ugly JSON, so let me fix it really quick. I'll go to my Cryptos AZS, and here I'll just add a template that I want to use to display that. So I say result template. I will save it, and then it should reload for me. Okay, that looks much better. So I see there's a lot of tweets on Bitcoin. And I also get the suggestions. So for example, if I start typing Cardano, I get the search suggestion. And I can actually do the same thing I just did with tweets. I can add a template for my suggestions. Save up that. And this should reload. And now when I search for Cardano, it's telling me, okay, maybe one of these is what you mean. And you see there's some issues. It's probably like different language. Maybe even it was Chinese. It had some character encoding problems. But then when I search for Cardano, I can see what other cryptos are correlated to it. So I can see, for example, when people talk about Cardano, then also talk about Bitcoin. They also talk about XRP, which is a Ripple coin, and also talk about Ethereum. And then I can, for example, see, okay, so show me all the 164 tweets about Bitcoin that mentions Cardano. And I can browse through that, and in this way I can learn faster about the information that are out there. So that was Azure Search. And a few words about the Azure Search. Azure Search is basically hosted Elasticsearch instance. So we create Azure Cloud Service. We install Elasticsearch on it. We have also like some other features like Apache Tika, which allows us to, for example, take PDF, extract text from it, and then you can, again, search through this text and put it on your search index. And we take care of scale, we take care of hosting it, so you don't have to worry about installing Elasticsearch. I don't know, how many of you are familiar with Elasticsearch here? Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, some people. How many of you had to like set up the Elasticsearch cluster ever? How was your experience with that?
Using Marketplace?
No, when you have to create Elasticsearch, right? How long did it take?
I mean, I can use the Azure Marketplace from Yahoo Function.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. But when you have to host it by yourself, have you ever tried that?
Few days maybe.
Few days, right? Yeah, so, and what is cool about using these cloud services, you don't have to worry about that, right? Because here, and actually, like, even like creation and installation of Elasticsearch takes time, and then indexing your data, so on. And what we do here, we actually keep the pool of ready clusters. So when you create a new one, you get it instantaneously within seconds. You can start using it right away. So you don't have to wait hours or 2 hours after your machine will be set up. So yeah, like quick recap. Yeah, what we did, it took tweets, used Azure Function to calculate the sentiment. We also could do like more, because text analytics, as you know, it can also extract key phrases. So what I could also do is I could extract some key phrases and see what key phrases are correlated to Bitcoin or some other cryptos. And also, there's not only one good solution on cloud. There's multiple ways to do this. So I use SQL database. You could use Cosmos DB, which is like a geo-replicated MongoDB document database. You could also use table storage, which is very cheap storage platform. Then you would have to, unfortunately, manually sync between your search index. So there are multiple solutions, and you just need to weigh these trade-offs when you are creating such solution. So yeah, so just summarizing what we did here, right? So we have this data, which were tweets, and then using this text analytics API, we got some information, which was only sentiment. And then using Azure Search, we are able to actually analyze what this sentiment gives us. We are able to see like correlation between different coins, or we are able to search what people are actually talking about when they're talking about different coins. And of course, you could spend hours trying to figure out some interesting correlation here. So what I did here with tweets, our team did similar thing with news data. So we took almost 21 million different news from Bing, and we put it on the search index, right? So to be able to find out some interesting information about that. And this website is actually live, so you can, if you go to newstimeline.azurewebsites.net, if the internet works. Okay, there you go. Let me just get all of them. Okay, there you go. So I have 21 million news articles. And if I, for example, search for Beijing, then, for example, you can see that, oh, there's some interesting thing happening here. So in 2008, the volume went up. And then you can click here. Oh, there it is. So what happened in 2008 was Beijing Olympics at this very Olympic park, which is a 10-minute walk from here. And then you also can see like what are the most common key phrases related to this news. So China is related to Beijing, of course, and Beijing Olympics, and athletics. You can also search for example, there's a lot of bikes in Beijing, right? I also love riding bike. So you can search for cycling. And let's see, what can I learn from cycling? So let me reset my volume to show all the news from all the years. And then again, you see like there's a spike, 2012. So what has happened in 2012? So you see there was some drag EPO scandal. And then you can look at the key phrases and you see, oh, Lance Armstrong. Oh, yes. So that's when what has happened in cycling community, that Lance Armstrong unveiled that everybody was basically on drugs when they're racing in Tour de France. So you can spend more time, and you can dig in, and find some interesting information. And these news are actually from good sources. So like we use like New York Times, Washington Post, and few other sources. Another similar thing we did is that last year, U.S. government make public the files about assassination of JF Kennedy, the US president, which has happened 50 years ago. And again, we were thinking, what can we do with that? How can we find some information from these files? So we put it on Azure Search. And as you know, the JF Kennedy assassin name was Oswald. So if I search for Oswald, I get the documents, and here using OCR, optical character recognition, I was able to find in these images where the word Oswald was mentioned. So I see, okay, and even it can recognize the handwriting. This was Oswald, and it can translate handwriting into the actual text, so then you can actually search through it. You don't have to read the entire document. And here is probably his selfie. And then what we also did, we created this graph of connections. So you can see what different phrases are connected to each other. And here you can see that Oswald is actually connected to Duran, okay? And you think, okay, so what is Duran? And then you go to Duran, you can search for that, and actually show me the search results. So here I have some facts about Duran. So I see, okay, statement of Sylvia Duran. So she was interrogated, and then I actually searched through these documents for a while, and then I found out that she was actually interrogated by Mexican authorities, and she was a Cuban embassy employee. So this is something I could dig in, and then of course you can see that also Cuba is related to this assassination somehow. So it's getting interesting, right? So here I showed you just how you can use AI and machine learning over textual data, but you can also think about applying this for medicine, for example. So one friend of mine, which actually we did a hackathon at Microsoft, and we tried to create this solution that will allows us to collect patients' records in the hospital, and then being able to like do some analysis over these records to figure out some diseases, causes, and analyze different history, how we can prevent the future diseases for different patients. And again, we create this solution on the cloud. It take advantage of Azure machine learning, and we want to actually add Azure Search for that, and being able to take this large amount of medical data and get some sense of it. So all of these things were built on some machine learning algorithm, and there's one very cool thing. I think this is my next slide. Yes, there is one very cool app that one developer at Microsoft created. Maybe you have heard about it, but if not, check out this video. Whoops. Shoot.
I'm Sakib Sheikh. I lost my sight when I was 7.
Whoa.
And
did I broke something? Sorry, cable should be connected. Okay, one more time. Sorry, restart.
I'm Sakib Sheikh. I lost my sight when I was 7. And shortly after that, I went to a school for the blind. And that's where I was introduced to talking computers. And that really opened up a whole new world of opportunities. I joined Microsoft 10 years ago as a software engineer. I love making things which improve people's lives. And one of the things I've always dreamt of since I was at university was this idea of something that could tell you at any moment what's going on around you.
I think it's a man jumping in the air doing a trick on a skateboard.
I teamed up with like-minded engineers to make an app which lets you know who and what is around you. It's based on top of the Microsoft Intelligence APIs, which makes it so much easier to make this kind of thing. The app runs on smartphones, but also on the Pivothead smart glasses. When you're talking to a bigger group, sometimes you can talk and there's no response, and you think, is everyone listening really well, or are they half asleep? And you never know.
I see two faces, 40-year-old man with a beard looking surprised, 20-year-old woman looking happy.
The app can describe the general age and gender of the people around me and what their emotions are, which is incredible. One of the things that's most useful about the app is the ability to read out text.
Hello, good afternoon. Using menu.
Great, thank you. I can use the app on my phone to take a picture of the menu, and it's going to guide me on how to take that correct photo.
Move camera to the bottom right and away from the document.
And then it'll recognize the text. Read me the headings.
I see appetizers, salads, paninis, pizzas, pastas.
Years ago, this was science fiction. I never thought it would be something that you could actually do. But artificial intelligence is improving at an ever faster rate. And I'm really excited to see where we can take this. As engineers, we're always standing on the shoulders of giants, building on top of what went before. And in this case, we've taken years of research from Microsoft Research to pull this off.
I think it's a young girl throwing an orange frisbee in the park.
For me, it's about taking that far-off dream and building it one step at a time. I think this is just the beginning.
So very cool, right? You took the power of machine learning without actually knowing much about how the algorithms work, and you can build something that is useful for other people. And actually, when I found out about this app, I reached out to the team, and now I am kind of working with them as my side project. Like at Google, you call it 20% time. And it's been great. And actually, I found out that Saqib, even though he's blind, he's like extremely intelligent, and he knows C# very, very well. Like we have some conversations about the code, and like I am amazed like how advanced of the programmer he is. And also what is cool about this project, oh, by the way, it's available on App Store, so you can actually download the app from App Store. You can try it out. It works with face detection, it recognizes text, it can even recognize the scene. So like, for example, if I took a photo here, it will probably tell me there's a group of people taking photos, but actually you're scanning the QR code. So I think this is like pretty cool era that we are living now, that you can take advantage of ML and build something like extremely useful, because this app for some people is like a life-changing thing, right? If you couldn't see, you can actually now go by yourself to the city, you can just pull up the camera and you can see what is around you. So okay, I'll give you a few more seconds to snap this QR code. Does it work? Oh, it doesn't work, damn it. It should bring you to App Store, but oh, it works only for iPhone. Sorry. So only Android phones here? Yeah, I'm sorry for that. We have, for now, we have only iOS version. We are planning to work on Android in the future, because actually majority of blind people are using iPhone because it has better accessibility features, and it's basically much better experience for them. So did somebody with iPhone succeeded in downloading the app? I see some iPhones. Does it work? Okay, if it doesn't work, you can just go to App Store and you can search for Seeing AI. It will be there for sure. And you can also talk to me after the session. I can show you how this app works if you have Android. So all the Android people, I can show you on my iPhone. So you know, I think now we are in the days where if you're just web developer, you're maybe not machine learning experts, you should know at least like a little bit about machine learning, what it is about, some fundamentals. And there's a great course on Coursera by Andrew Ng, the Stanford professor who started the Google Brain project. He used to work in Baidu. He did this very cool course that you can take, and you can learn the basics of machine learning. And also recently he did this a track called deep learning specialization, because deep learning is actually deep neural networks. This is what is powering majority of machine learning algorithms these days. And if you want to have like high-level overview of artificial intelligence, there is this great 1,000 pages book by Peter Norvig and Stuart Russell. You don't necessarily have to read it, but maybe at least scan and see what is in each chapter, read the summaries. That's actually what I did to know what artificial intelligence is about and what are the different areas of research in it. And if you're, of course, a web developer, I showed you a little bit of TypeScript and React today, but not much. So if you want to learn about TypeScript, there is a great Pluralsight course. And I think this QR code should work because it just goes to website. I just verified it yesterday. And then also, if you want to learn more about the React, there is, again, cool Pluralsight course. It's like 1.5 hours. It is like very introductory course about the React components, how to build simple apps. And if you want to get more advanced, now every React developer is using Redux, and of course, Pluralsight gets you covered. So you can also check it out. These are the courses I did, and I found them like extremely efficient in learning. So I also recommend them to you. So I hope some of the stuff I showed you today would be useful for you. And thank you very much for coming to my talk. And please find me after my talk, and I'll be happy to chat to all of you. Thank you very much.